Hollywood, because you didn't need any practice, you stepped right in it.
Woo, that was fun.
Well, I want you to welcome Cindy, and she's going to share with us about what God's done in her life, and then also the work that she does both in fitness and helping the women. But before we get talking, my love, we have a video. We want to show that real quick. What's happening with these women around the world?
Well, I would say probably one of the biggest things that people don't know is that it's not just around the world. And we just held, less than a week ago, the #1 United States trafficking event, which was the Super Bowl. Has more underage trafficking victims, sex victims, than any other event.
Where do they come from?
All over the country. Some from other parts of the world, but what has occurred in the last few years is the traffickers have found out that it's much more expensive to take someone from outside the U.S. and bring them here, and take them from here outside the U.S., so they're reducing their costs by trafficking within our borders and keeping the people in here and saving themselves some money from having to give them documents to get outside the country. So they'll take a victim, say from Florida, and move them to California, or just move them around within the borders of the United States.
Okay, how does a girl, though, get from living at home or living somewhere, I'm just going to ask questions I think, okay? But how does she find a John? How does she get connected into this underworld that's so horrible?
Well, here in the United States, it's 90% of trafficking victims are runaways or kids that have been kicked out of their homes by their families. And they hook up with a guy in the street who's going to take him into his family, and the next thing you know, she's forced to have sex, and then they kind of tattoo them with their own mark that brands them, and then they move them from city to city. And what they'll usually do, for example, if there's runaway victims in Orlando, they are going to take them into another state, another city, just to kind of take them out of their comfort zone. So that's how the trafficking occurs within our borders.
And what did you do for the Super Bowl?
My part in the Super Bowl was simply prayer, and I send out email blasts to everyone I know to stay focused in prayer, because it's huge. This problem is obviously way bigger than us, and so that was one of the first things I had to realize is this is something God has called me to do, and it is His work. So I'm just going to do the things He asked me to do and leave the results up to Him, because it's way bigger than someone 5'1" and 110 pounds can handle. But He can. Yeah, I didn't have a choice. I knew once I got saved, which happens for me very late in life, that I wanted to make a difference in people's lives, and I didn't know what my thing was going to be. I wanted to change people's lives, and I had lost my aunt in her early 30s to cancer, but cancer never, supporting breast cancer awareness never had that drive for me. And I was sitting in front of the TV one day, which I don't normally watch TV. I will watch movies, and I'm an action junkie. So I was flipping through the channels. I was going to do some work in front of the TV, and I saw these police uniforms on the TV. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll stop there. So I'm doing my work, and I just started hearing things, and I'm watching the screen, and they're beating this girl and forcing her to have sex with people, and I'm thinking, what my mind always is like, who thinks of this stuff? Like, who in the world comes up with these movies? Sick people. And then about 2 minutes later, they broke for a commercial, and before they went, they gave statistics from the State Department, and I was just like, this is a real issue. And I was just glued to the TV, and it felt like God took His nails in my heart and said, this is the thing. This is the thing. And there's not probably an hour of a day that goes by, except when I'm sleeping, that I don't think about young girls and children being raped for profit around the world. And it's happening in our own city. So,
about your ministry.
Okay. I would say, like Angela said, it is not difficult to make ourselves healthy. What I usually tell people when they ask me, what is the best exercise that you can recommend for this or that, and I say, it's the one you're going to do. I can tell you run an hour on the treadmill, but if you're not going to do it, then it's no good for you. So it's going to be the one you're going to do. Second thing, your eating. If you want to change your eating, a great way to do that, what I do with all my clients, is a food diary. Write down everything you eat and drink, every day before you eat or drink it. Because you see it on paper, you often don't realize how much you are eating and how often you're eating just unconsciously. So do that, and like you said, it's awareness. Being aware and having your mindset on what am I really doing. I know I often will, I used to not sit down and eat. I would put something on the counter and I'm busy, and before I know it, like half a box of crackers is gone. So you're not even really aware of what you're doing. So ministry, the same thing I would have to say then is awareness. People do not know that trafficking is an issue here in our backyard. The Super Bowl, I had so many people respond when I sent that email out that it is the #1 U.S. event, because we often also think, we have in our minds a picture of the person, the trafficker, these seedy-looking individuals. Well, the Super Bowl is an event for the affluent. Costs a lot of money to go to the Super Bowl, but yet that's our largest trafficking event in the United States. So that tells you who's involved. And so we need to be aware, and we need to be able to talk about it, because in Proverbs 31, we're all very aware of Proverbs 31, the wife, all the qualities of a good wife. Well, right before that, in Proverbs 31, 8 and 9, it talks about us being responsible for defending the rights of the poor and needy and speaking up for those who cannot speak for themselves. And so that's what we have to do as women and as Christians in order to make change happen.
If they want to get in touch with you for workout or for training or for helping you either financially or could someone go with you when you go for these trips?
Absolutely. The trip I took to Thailand last year, I took one other person with me. She was from, her husband and I actually have done mission trips to the Philippines together, but this was her first mission trip, and she came with me. It was just the two of us, but anyone can go. We just raise our own money and we go.
If we train with you, can we beat them up when we go?
She said, if we train with you, can we beat them up?
Wouldn't that be great? I was just like watching when I was in Thailand. The sad thing was the city is known for prostitution. People travel there. It's a sex vacation destination. However, prostitution is illegal there. It's just like in America, we almost can't fathom that. Okay, if we see it in front of our face, something's going to be done about it. Not there. They actually had police vans that said Tourist Protection Police. Meanwhile, there's thousands, over 20,000 prostitutes in a little beach town that nobody really cares about.
Well, we care.
Yes.
We can pray, ladies, and we're going to do that right now.